like, what are you tired of? Like, what rules are you tired of playing by? What patterns are you tired of repeating? What behaviors are you tired of taking? And what are you willing to break in 2025 to live a more authentic life? If we haven't met before, my name is Francisca. I'm the owner of Breathe, Connect, Thrive, a healing studio in Houston, Texas, where I help people release emotions through conscious connected breathing, replenish their mind, body, heart, and soul in restorative yoga, and gain some clarity through personalized tarot readings. When I first started this channel, I wanted to share all of the personal development and self-healing tools that I have found along my journey. And it's been a really beautiful thing to do. However, as I've mentioned in some past videos, the energy that it takes to keep up a channel and mostly do the editing for these videos has become way too much for me to handle. And it is just me. But I still want to offer tarot readings on video, and I still also want to offer breath work on YouTube as well. So moving forward, I do have a Soul Shift Breathwork membership. So there are 2 tiers to this membership. The first tier is monthly breathwork with tarot reading videos and new moon workbooks and full moon workbooks, and so you can do your oracle spreads. And also there is some breathwork audios that are available for certain members of that tier. So the next tier that I have is just for monthly tarot reading videos. So if you missed my monthly tarot reading videos and that's something that you're interested in watching, then you want to join the Soul Shift membership. I'll leave both links at the bottom. So just in case you're wondering what those workbook walkthroughs look like, I have included one here. I thought I'd include the new moon in Capricorn just because this energy is so amazing for setting intentions, for closing out the end of the year. And I started out this year with one tarot reading for the year, and I think it's really fitting that I end the year with this workbook walkthrough and a powerful intention setting practice for you to use. Hello and welcome to your new moon in Capricorn workbook walkthrough. So this is the final new moon of the year. I love that it is towards the last couple of days at the end of the year because this allows for powerful intention setting. That energy will carry you through the first few weeks of January of next year. Capricorn is this practical energy. It is this energy that is all about discipline and foundation and strength and long-term goals. This is a really good time to start setting those intentions that are ambitious yet still realistic. The new moon in Capricorn is on December 30th. As I said before, this energy is going to be super helpful in ushering that transformative energy for setting your intentions in 2025. So this energy invites you to set those goals that allow you to cultivate discipline and also build a strong foundation for the year ahead. This is the best time to incorporate or embody those Capricornian qualities like authenticity, rebellion, and agency. This is going to encourage you to build those solid foundations while also cultivating the sense of stability and security. So you'll notice in this workbook, there's 2 pages of opportunities for you to harness the energy of the new moon Capricorn. Because the energy of the new moon in Capricorn is, gosh, I think this year has been, for a lot of clients and myself, has been one of transformation. Like, we are astrologically, there's a lot of things that are going on. We're ending a 16-year cycle from 2008. So if you can think back to 2008, what your Capricorn energy was, or what house Capricorn lands for you, what changes have happened for you since then. You know, I think when we have an ending to something, there is some residual energy that comes from that ending as we close out those chapters. So even though a chapter has been closed out in our lives, there's still this remaining energy that we kind of have to wade through. If you think about something like a job ending, right? When a job ends, yes, you no longer work there, but you still have the feelings associated with working there, especially if it was a toxic work environment, especially if it was something that maybe you worked at for a long time, or perhaps you ended a career of sorts. Maybe this is something that you worked really hard on. And I know that for a few clients, this was the case. I know in my personal life, that was the case too. I ended a job, a few years ago, but it was something that I was doing for a long time. And there's just like residual effects of it, right? And you might have transitioned careers. I'm just thinking about a lot of people now coming to mind, and some of you are in the Soul Shift Breathwork membership, and I know that you have had these struggles too, or not struggles, but transitions that maybe felt like struggles at times, and you might still be in the thick of it. But then there's also the transition of, actual death, which I know a lot of you have experienced. And, you may have the ending of something like the actual ending of physical life, but then afterwards, there's all these feelings and this grief that comes up afterwards. And grief can be a beautiful thing. It can be a thing where we celebrate and honor, but it can really be a transformative time where we really connect because the veil is so thin. But then there's this absence of that. And so for some of us, we might be experiencing that transition. All this is to say that when we get to the ending of something, there's always a beginning. And that's one of the things that I love about using this new moon, full moon energy to kind of like put a cap on certain things, and also to set our manifestations or our intention settings, to set them alight and to illuminate them with the darkness of the new moon. So many things are born within the darkness. If you think about babies, like there's literal birth that happens or the birth happens through the darkness. Creativity, the times where you've been so devoid of any creative spirit or any creative feelings, or devoid of any creative ideas. Right after that, you think about that, there is this time of light and, a fire. And so that's why I think it's so powerful when things are born through the darkness. And so this new moon it gives you plenty of opportunities to harness that energy of the darkness, to harness the energy of the new moon, to harness the energy of something new, to allow you to embrace in self-reflection and visioning, to allow you to conduct a Capricornian self-inventory, to clarify your values, to identify your core desired feelings, and then align those core desired feelings with your goals and your deepest values. This is one of the first steps I take people through when we go through the soul shift. It used to be called chakra balancing breathwork journey, but it's now the soul shift breathwork journey. But when I take them through, it's like, what are those feelings? How do you really want to feel? And how can we align your goals to those deepest desires, to your heart's desire, to your soul's desire? Because if we can align and clarify your values and clarify your core desired feelings and align those with your goals, it is difficult, but you really can live an inspired life, and you can really take inspired action from there. It can be difficult, as most of you already know, but it is so worthwhile because you're living with more authenticity. You're living with more rebellion. You're living with more agency. And rebellion can be a really good thing, because it takes a lot of energy to follow your desires and to be in a passionate, explorative state, to explore those activities that bring you joy and fulfillment. And that reflects on that Capricornian drive to achieve mastery in those areas that you choose to, in your chosen areas. It's so important because we can live our lives based on other people's dreams, and we can feel empty inside. We can live our lives based on the dreams that we believe or that have been ingrained in us, like this is the way you're supposed to be, whether it's a cultural belief, or it's a family belief, or it is something that is just self-imposed through, or not self-imposed, but imposed through external sources like society, what society tells you to believe, but what is your chosen area? Maybe your chosen area is that you want a job where you can work and then you want to come home to just relax, and you are working so that you can relax. Sometimes that chosen area is something where you truly just want to work and you want your work to mean something and you want your work to be your passion. And for some of us, those chosen areas of mastery are enjoying ourselves, enjoying time with ourselves, and just being really, deep into that introverted, introspective state. Some of us, our chosen area is multiple areas. We're multifaceted, and some of us have are multi-passionate. If you're anything like me, you are multi-passionate, and you have like a lot of different desires in a lot of different places, and some of them make sense to tie together and some of them don't. Some of our chosen areas of mastery might be that we want to help other people heal. Some of our chosen areas of mastery might be that we want to show other people how to be brave and strong. They're all different. This is all to say that it's all different. We all have different desires. We all have different chosen areas that we want to be a master at. And again, it's okay if your chosen area of mastery is just to be. That is totally okay too. Sometimes I talk to clients who are like, well, I don't know that I have a desire. I just want to be peaceful. Sometimes that's the best desire. But we all have our chosen area of mastery. So where are you passionate? Where can you bring joy and fulfillment to yourself? In those areas. Skill assessment. This is also a really good time to evaluate what your strengths and weaknesses are, and how can you use those to your advantage in a practical and realistic approach. So often when we're setting our goals, when we're setting our intentions, when we're, gearing up for the new year, whether you celebrate the new year in January with the calendar year, or whether you celebrate the new year, the lunar new year, whenever you celebrate that new year, how can we evaluate what your true strengths are, what your true weaknesses are, and how can you use them to help you with your intention setting? How can you use those to sit with and ground yourself so that you can use those to help move you forward? Also, this is a really good time to embrace that Capricorn shadow work. This is a really good time to notice your shadows, your limiting beliefs, and when your inner critic is driving your actions or behaviors, and how those might be hindering your progress. I feel like this kind of leans on examining your weaknesses, right? And some of our weaknesses are actually strengths if we look at them. Like sometimes we are a little slow to action, but that's because we really need to feel into our gut and feel what feels right. Sometimes those limiting beliefs or those shadows or our inner critic might be hindering our progress. So how can you use that? How can you slowly untangle that so that you can release those behaviors that'll allow you to break free from the old structures so that you can create new foundations? So anytime we are noticing our shadows, anytime we are noticing our inner critic, anytime we're noticing that is part of the shadow work. Part of the shadow work is turning the light on and illuminating those. And once you turn the light on, it's like, okay, now I can examine this. Where did it come from and how can I use it to move forward? Not so we can stay there and, keep trying to heal this wound. Maybe at some point, I might have mentioned this before, but at some point we're done healing and it's time to just move forward. But embracing your imperfections and cultivating that compassion of self by looking at your flaws and using those flaws to help you move forward versus using those flaws as something to pull you down, which will make space for setting those ambitious yet achievable goals. And so I had a little bit of resistance putting ambitious yet achievable goals here. I just wanted to say intention setting. But the reason that I left this in here was because I know I know that true growth only comes when we push beyond our comfort zone. And there is time and space to make things easy. There's time and space to let things be easy. There definitely is time and space for that. This energy, though, this Capricorn energy is asking you to set those bigger goals, but yet still make them achievable. So pushing beyond your comfort zone, but not too far beyond your comfort zone. So this is a time to define your vision, to use the focus energy that is here available to you with this Capricorn new moon, and define those long-term goals, maybe 5 to 10 years. What do those goals look like? I might even say 3 to 5 years. I might go back and revise this, and if I leave it in, then it's 5 to 10. But what are those long-term goals? Sometimes when we're so busy surviving, we forget about what it feels like to be in a thriving state. And when we're surviving, it's just this day. How can I get through this day? How can I have enough money for today? How can I have enough food for today? Like literally, if you've ever been in survival mode, if you've ever been in poverty where you've really had to worry about food, where you've had to worry about money, where you've had to worry about your light bills. Some of you know what this feels like. Some of you have been fortunate enough not to know. But when you are in survival mode, it is just this moment. How do I survive this moment? And this moment can feel like an eternity. So when we move into thriving, we could really look into our long-term goals. So what are those long-term goals, right? Use this energy to set those focused goals. Then you want to break those down into smaller steps. This is that practical Capricorn energy, right? Take your goals and break those down into smaller milestones using that methodical approach of Capricorn energy to kind of say, okay, if I want to get to these like 3 to 5 long-term goals, what would it take for me to get there? And what time frame would I need for this? If you are part of the Soul Shift Breathwork membership, then you have access to the Soul Shift workshop. And in that Soul Shift workshop, you find ways to do this. So I really highly recommend revisiting or visiting that if you haven't gone in, and really looking at that approach and seeing how you can break these down into smaller steps or break these down into your zone of possibilities. You can also use this time to create practical timelines for each of those milestones. So sometimes we go into setting goals or intentions and we're like, I'm going to have this by tomorrow. And it's like, yeah, you can have it by tomorrow, and what would it look like if you did have it by tomorrow? Sometimes we need so much space between our intention and the actualization or materialization of that intention. And the reason is because we can refine it, and we can really look at things in a different way if we take our time. So taking those practical, realistic timelines and setting them for each of your milestones, I think is going to be really helpful at this time, especially with this Capricorn new moon energy. And this is also a really good time to make a list of your resources and supports that are going to help you with your goals, that are going to help you with being resourceful and building those strong foundations. This might be a really good time too to create a menu jar. You could call it something different. You could call it a memories jar. Maybe this is a jar where you put memories in for the new year, or memories that you want to create. It might be activities that bring you joy or fulfillment, things that you want to achieve. And this is also a really good time for renewal and releasing, or releasing and renewing. So really good time to release the past, forgiving yourself, forgiving anybody else that you might be holding on to some resentment with, releasing any negativity, and just really encouraging that, or embracing that Capricornian spirit of leaving the past behind. Now, you could do a burn letter here. You could kind of write a letter to forgive yourself, write a letter to release whatever you need to release. You might even write a letter to let go of the past, and then tear it up and burn it, and then do some breath work. I really love doing that. If you haven't yet already downloaded the end of year workbook, I believe that I guide you through a ritual there too, to kind of write all the stuff down and just tear it up and burn it. You might even tear the paper up. I've had a couple of clients do this where we tear the paper up and they take it and they they get a new plant and they plant on top of that paper. So it's like kind of like you're literally planting the seeds of letting stuff go. This is also a really good time to declutter your space, to clear your physical, mental, or digital space. Clearing this out for new beginnings so you can focus on order and structure. You might even reorganize stuff. So it is so helpful to clear out digital space. So go through your phone, take numbers out that, you don't need anymore. I wouldn't be surprised if these people like call or text you as soon as you delete their numbers. Clear out old pictures from your drive, from your cloud, that are just taking up space, all that bandwidth, that energy that this space is taking up, old documents, and maybe reorganize things within your digital space. This is also a really good time to do that, especially as we go into the new year. This is also a really good time to ground and center, to connect with the earth. You can do meditation, breathwork, journaling, spending time in nature. Just connect with the physical world, connect with your physical world, connect with this earth, really connect with your root chakra as well. This is a really good time to really feel into what are the things that make you feel safe? What are the things that make you feel secure? What are the things that make you feel in some ways insignificant? Sometimes being in nature, like especially big bodies of nature, can make you feel really insignificant in the grand scheme of things. And sometimes this is a really good thing. Sometimes this is a really good thing to realize our significance, yet our insignificance. Like, we make a difference. We are here. You are here. That is the crux, the whole idea behind that root chakra, right? That is the I am here, I am safe, I am, like the I am. We are spiritual beings in this physical body, but we are physical. We are here to experience it all. And so if you can connect to that grounding and centeredness within yourself through the earth with these practices, it's going to be super helpful at this time. Embracing Capricornian self-care. You can do this by mindful meditation, again, focusing on grounding and centering. You can do this through mindful movement. You can do mindful walking, where you really pay attention to every single aspect of the walking. Pay attention to your feet on the ground. Pay attention to your arms as they swing. Pay attention to the breath as it moves through you. But you can also do this through energy practices or physical practices like yoga or tai chi or meditation, again, to build that strength and endurance. Even in breath work, you can be really mindful of the breath, really mindful, consciously aware of the breath, consciously aware of like where you're breathing, where your breath is flowing, how long, how deep, how full, how fast. This is, again, a really good time to spend time in nature, to connect with the earth's grounding energy. I kind of mentioned that before, but it's worth mentioning again, because sometimes when we think about self-care, we may not think about, spending time in nature as self-care, but I certainly do. It's sometimes the most transformative experiences I've had have been just through walking. I think Julie Cameron has a whole book on walking, and that being like the highest way to connect yourself to your spirit. And I think it's true, because again, we're tapping into our insignificant significance. And I think that that's a beautiful thing. Creative expansion. This is also a really good time to explore your creative outlets so that you can connect with your inner world. Again, when we are connecting with things external from us, we are connecting to the things internal to us, because we are that which we see, and that which we see is us. And so you are the experiencer of the thing that you are experiencing. That it's a really beautiful thing for growth, and it's a really beautiful thing for recognition and our self-exploration. This is also a really good time to prioritize your self-care essentials like your I ams, right? Your body, your physicalities, your biological needs. So fueling your body with healthy foods and nutrients that will help you apply a practical approach to your health. So there might be an opportunity here to revisit how you treat your body, how you treat your strength, how you treat your muscles, how you treat yourself, right? How can you nourish your body? How can you fuel your body with these nutrients, with these strengthening practices, with these stretching practices? What can you do to take a practical approach to your health? How can you prioritize quality sleep? So sometimes we don't get enough sleep, but how can you get yourself into a routine where you get enough sleep to support your physical, mental, emotional well-being so that you can have effort? And this might mean taking naps throughout the day. I mean, some of us, like we're all individual. We all have our own needs for our own physical health. So maybe that means getting sufficient sleep, might mean getting 8 hours of sleep for some of us. For some of us, it might mean honoring our internal body clock, and maybe that means staying up later and sleeping in a little bit more in the morning. And maybe that means for some of us we get 5 hours of sleep, and for some of us that's enough sleep, and then maybe we need to take a nap throughout the day, or maybe a yoga nidra session. How can you prioritize that quality sleep, right? How can you build in these mindful breaks for 2025? How can you take these short breaks to take deep breathing practices, or to do these mindful exercises so that you can focus and you can avoid burnout? How can you build those in? Connecting to your inner wisdom. This is a perfect time to lean in on the power of your breath. I think I've kind of talked about this earlier before, but it's worth it to say it again, to use breathing practices so that you can release those limiting beliefs. You might even imagine bringing in all of this beautiful energy, and on the exhale you're releasing those beliefs. On these exhales you're releasing the behaviors that keep you stuck. You're releasing the shadow, right? You're breathing in light and you're letting go of the shadow, or you're transmuting the shadow, or you're integrating the shadow. You're cultivating inner strength, and you're connecting to your inner wisdom and your intuition. Really good time for journaling, dedicating specific time for journaling to help you explore your insights gained through breath work, meditation, being in nature, whatever. One of my favorite practices is to take a journal or coloring book with me when I go on my long nature walks. And at the end of my long nature walks, I get to color, or I get to journal, or I get to, just write things down. And you'd be surprised what comes through your intuitive inner wisdom after you've kind of done some physical activity. Again, we are in this physical world. We're spiritually experiencing this, right? But we're here in body form. So because we're here in body form, we also need to prioritize that body form. So how can we use our body form to tap into our inner wisdom? Shadow work, again, acknowledging your fears, addressing those insecurities so that you can overcome them, shining a light on them. This is also a really good time to keep a dream journal and reflect on those themes so that you can have deeper insights into your subconscious. You'd be surprised. Sometimes we all have our own connection to our dreams, but I feel like we can get so much insight, and some of us might even have premonition dreams. So these are all really good practices to do with this new moon, and to help you carry through the energy of 2025. So how will this new moon specifically affect you? Well, what you want to do is check your Capricorn placements and see where Capricorn lands in your houses. You can do this through your rising sign, which would be your ascendant. This is, your outward energy, your actions, behaviors. You might use it through your core self or your sun sign. Most people know this as their birth sign. Or you could use it as your moon sign for your inner self. It's your home, your body, your safety, your security. So let's say, for example, Capricorn were to land in your 10th house, which is the house of Capricorn. So that would be your career, your status, your reputation. Let's say it landed landed within your fourth house, that's your home, your parents, your inner security. If it landed in your eighth house, that's the house of letting go. So finding out where this lands in your house, if it's your Capricorn rising or sun sign is in your first house, this is your outward appearance, this is your awareness of self, this is the I am. So finding where that lands in your house, if you don't know, you can use the birth chart calculator that I've included within the workbook and also in the vault. So moving on to the spreads, we have 3 different spreads: the Capricorn shadow work spread, and then we also have the Capricorn new beginning spread, and then we also have the Capricorn inner wisdom spread. So I don't know why I'm always drawn to that first one, but I think I'm going to do the first one this time as well as the second one, the new beginning spread. All right, so for the Capricorn shadow work spread, we have 5 questions. And for this spread, I am using the Fortuna tarot deck, as I have in previous ones. So this one has 5 questions, and we are going to be pulling the cards. I've already started shuffling them. Okay, so what are the shadow aspects that might be hindering your progress? And I'm going to pick here. Ooh, 7 of Candles. Interesting. So the 7 of Candles or 7 of Wands is all about defending, defending yourself, defending your palace, as it were. So originally in the Rider-Waite deck, this 7 of Candles or 7 of Wands is depicted as a man protecting his castle, and he's missing a shoe. And like, that's one of the things that I like always remember. He's like, he's missing his shoe. He's caught unaware. And so the shadow aspect, I feel like, that's hindering your progress right now is the feeling the need to defend yourself, feeling the need to defend your passions, feeling the need to defend maybe that light within you, and maybe even feeling the need to defend the shadow within you as well. Ooh, and maybe the shadow is a light. Interesting. Okay, so how can you acknowledge and integrate the shadow aspects of yourself? Okay, we got, the 10 of Swords. So putting it into this, like letting it die, like acknowledging that, there is an end to things, and acknowledging that with this ending comes a new beginning, and also acknowledging that, as I said before, like I love the way Spirit does this, but as I said before, like even though something ends, there might be some residual energy that still is lingering on. And so maybe integrating that lingering energy and allowing that lingering energy to be used as fuel. Okay, so what are the benefits of embracing your shadow self? Let's see, where are we guided? We're guided here. Okay, and this is the Queen of Keys. I love this because acknowledging and integrating these shadow aspects is the 10 of Keys or 10 of Swords. And so the 10 of Swords is an ending. It's like we have been stabbed in the back and there's no coming back from this. Like there's no coming back from this, but there's still all of this cleanup that has to happen. But the benefits of embracing that is that you get the sword of truth. So the Queen of Keys is someone who is direct. She's someone who's straightforward. She's someone who cuts through the bullshit. She is someone who's like, she's got her sword of truth and she's going to use it. She's going to talk about it. She's going to say it. She's going to communicate and say what she needs to say. And so there's something different from this 7 of Candles where you're defending yourself, right? Where you are defending your ideas and defending your passions. Whereas the Queen of Keys or the Queen of Swords is like, I don't need to defend, because I'm sure, I know that you're not going to take this from me. And even if you did take this from me, I don't give a shit because I am fucking strong. And, you can't pull bullshit over her eyes, right? It can sometimes be looked at as cold and calculating, but in the balance sense, the Queen of Keys is someone who knows her dark spots and has been able to light them and cut through the bullshit of her own darkness. ooh, she's cut through the bullshit of her own darkness. So the benefits of embracing your shadow self is that you're cutting through the bullshit of your own darkness. And sometimes it takes getting sick of our own shit and sick of our own behaviors and being pushed to the brink that maybe catapults us into that transformation. It kind of gives us a slingshot effect. All right. So how to use the shadow work to break free from your limiting patterns. Oh, I'm getting excited. Like I got chills on that last one. It's like getting sick of your own shit. Okay. So we got the 4 of Candles, and I love that we got the 4 of Candles, but the 4 of Candles was reversed in this placement here. And the 4 of Candles is all about structure and stability and building these strong foundations so that we can celebrate them, but using the shadow work to break free from that. So instead of, because celebration it can be an internal thing, right? With this 4 of Wands, or 4 of Wands and 4 of Candles in this deck, but 4 of Wands is typically a celebration with others. The fact that it is reversed leads me to believe that this is an internal celebration. So how can you start celebrating yourself for those milestones, whether other people celebrate you or not? How can you take action that is right for your soul? Not that it's right or wrong, but it's like this action that is true for your soul, authentic for your soul. This action that creates agency within you. This action that is embedded within you. And so using the shadow work to break free from your limitations instead of using your passion as a defense, or defending your passion, or needing to defend your passion, or needing to show others to celebrate. This celebration card, this 4 of Wands, is like sometimes looked at as marriage and, partnerships and commitments, or celebrating a huge milestone. How can you celebrate huge milestones for yourself? How can you celebrate the small milestones as well? And the guidance that will support you as you illuminate your shadow self. We got the 4 of Cups. I like this because sometimes the 4 of Cups is looked at as a card of boredom. It's a card of like not appreciating where you are. I feel like the energy of this card is asking you to appreciate where you are, to appreciate, again, how far you've come. I feel like this is playing on that 4 of Wands reversed. The guidance that will support you as you illuminate your shadow self will be to have immense gratitude for where you are. Have immense gratitude for the things that are happening within your life. Have immense gratitude for how far you've come and what you actually have. Have an immense gratitude for your feelings too. Again, we are spiritual beings experiencing the physical world, but we are physical, but we are experiencing this spiritual experience, and we can't like bypass that. Like, nothing is important if you are not part of the witnessing of it. Nothing is important if you are not experiencing it, because it's from your vantage point. And I think that that's a beautiful thing. But let's see what Maria has to say about this 4 of Elixirs being this card of illuminating your shadow self. So this is contemplation. This is reevaluation. It can also be dissatisfaction or boredom. As I said before, the element for this is water. Again, water is the element of cups, and that is our emotions. That is our intuition. That's our feelings, right? This is the Lord of blended pleasure. The astrological influence is Moon in Cancer. Okay, so the 4 of Elixirs is often depicted as a man who seems to be in a deep state of meditation with his arms crossed. He is being offered a cup, and there are 3 other cups in front of him. This card symbolizes that we are so focused on a specific thing or specific aspect in our lives that we cannot see beyond it, meaning that we are refusing to welcome new opportunities presented to us. This card is ruled by the 3rd decan of Cancer, which is ruled by the Moon in Cancer. When the moon is in the sign of Cancer, it's known to be in its domicile or home sign. The moon in Cancer thrives under security and stability. It seeks comfort above all. The 4 of Elixirs can indicate that you are denying yourself the opportunity to open yourself up to new experiences or people to enter your life. The 4 of Elixirs can also symbolize that we are reluctant to change because we would rather hold on to things we already know. sustain, and comfort. So the guidance that's supporting you is to not stay in your comfort. It's kind of like I said before, like moving a little bit beyond your comfort zone. How can you move a little bit beyond your comfort zone? And how can you also see the opportunities that are available to you, right? So this card can also show up as an indication that there is a moment of contemplation or reevaluation ahead of us. And so this makes so much sense, because if we're reevaluating our shadow, if we're looking at our shadow and really like looking at that, and how can we embrace this, and how can we integrate these aspects of ourselves, how can we integrate this ending of this shadow self and really integrate it instead of it being an ending, right? A finality, like there again, there's that residual energy, which is why I think Source was guiding me to say that in the beginning of this whole workbook walkthrough, because we have to integrate those lingering effects after an ending, right? So how can we reevaluate those things and then make time and space for yourself to look outside the external interactions so you can ground yourself, right? Continuing with the archetype of the moon in Cancer, it represents divine feminine energy that is willing to wait and allow things to come instead of taking constant action. So the defense of the Seven of Wands is an action, right? It's actually a response or reaction to being attacked. But the energy of this Four of Cups is asking you to wait, to allow things to come to you, right? The energy of the moon is calm and receptive, and it attracts and reflects energy, reminding us that not everything in life is about creating or chasing. And so sometimes when we're working through the shadow, like we want it to be done like right away, again, like that ending, right? That finality. But again, that there's that space, there's that time and space of things kind of evolving, of the residual effects, right? I also wanted to read one more card. Which one did I want to read? I wanted to read the shadow work and how you can use that to break free from your limiting beliefs. And that was the Four of Candles reversed, or the Four of Wands reversed. So reversed, this card is about transition and underestimation. So when the Four of Candles is reversed, it means that we're going through a period of transition towards stability. So towards stability, right? So using the shadow work to go towards stability. We are not there yet, but through remaining consistent, we will be. If we keep pushing through our limitations, we can end up underestimating our ability, leading to burnout and frustration. Little by little becomes a lot. Manage your energy levels properly. So that is how you can use this shadow work to break free from your limiting beliefs. Remain consistent, right? And know that you're working towards stability when it comes to these shadow aspects. You know, anytime we shine a light on our shadow, we are really, again, cutting through the bullshit, especially with that Queen of Keys or Queen of Swords energy. We're done with that. You know, we don't need to really work through that a lot more, and letting it come, really allowing yourself to take time and, you know, really focus on the gratitude of the things that you have done to get yourself where you're at, right? And so we are going into the Capricorn New Beginning spread. For this one, I am using the Moon and Stars Tarot. I haven't used this one in a while, but I saw it and I was like, ooh, let me pick this one up. Okay, so this spread has 4 questions. And the questions are, what do I need to release from the past in order to make space for new beginnings? What opportunities are presenting themselves to you? What actions can you take to embrace these new beginnings? And what support is available to guide you on this new chapter? So, what do you need to release from the past in order to make space for new beginnings? Okay, we got the Two of Pentacles, balance. That's interesting that you would need to release the balance, or need to release the idea of balance. So sometimes we're trying to find balance so much that we can really hinder our own progress. Maybe there isn't a perfect balance of two things. Maybe there's a center, like finding the center, right? How do you find your center? Okay, this card's peeking out, and I don't know if it's still going to peek out, but what new opportunities are presenting themselves to you? Ooh, we got the Ace of Wands with new beginnings. I love this. That's why it's so peeking out. Okay, so what actions can you take to embrace these new beginnings? Okay, you got the Chariot, progress. I love this. I really love this for you. Okay. So, and the chariot is also about making a choice, right? It's about making a choice. Like, it's funny because I moved my mouse and then I saw this picture that I took when we went to Santorini, right? And that was a really fun time for my sister and I. We took this trip to Europe and it was beautiful. Like, it was one of my favorite days. And the reason that it was one of my favorite days is because we didn't have a plan, but the universe guided us to all of these beautiful shops and all of this beautiful, like, all we did was walk and we explored. And in the walking and exploring, like, we made a choice, and the choice was whatever comes, let it come, and sometimes that's a perfect choice to make. I love that. What actions can you take to embrace these new beginnings? And you got the chariot, progress, right? So making a choice, right? Making a choice to move forward, making a choice to take that inspired action, right? And then letting the rest be up to the universe. What support is available to guide you through this new chapter? You got the High Priestess. I love this because you got 2 major arcanas at the end of your reading. And I like it because releasing the need for balance will open up the energy for these new beginnings with the Ace of Wands. It'll allow you to take inspired actions towards progress, which will allow you to really feel into the support of the High Priestess and listening to that voice within, listening to your inner wisdom, listening to your intuition, listening to your intuition. So the support that's going to be able to guide you on this new chapter is your intuition. I love this because sometimes we look for support outside of ourselves, and sometimes that support is really the support within ourselves. Sometimes it is the spirit within us that allows us to clear through the mental fog, that allows us to restore our center, that allows us to dispel confusion, that allows us to heal our heart and soul, and again, bring our heart back to center and encourage that gentle recovery, right? And enhance the clarity, right? And uplift our hearts, right? If we can make that choice, again, like, I feel like there is this idea of making a choice. Sometimes new beginnings start with just a choice. Like, I have made this choice. If I keep doing the same thing, I'm going to keep getting the same results. If I keep showing up the same way, I'm going to keep getting the same thing. So if you want something different, you have to do something different. Not necessarily meaning action, although it can mean action. It can just be a new idea, like making a new choice. I have made a new choice. Now, my choice is to redirect my thoughts. My choice is to, not dwell in the past. My choice is to get up and move, even though my body wants to lay down. My choice is to X, Y, or Z, right? So what do you need to release from the past to make new beginnings? Again, that 2 of Pentacles energy, that energy of, finding the balance or making a choice. Sometimes that's also the energy of the 2 of Pentacles, right? It's making a choice between career and love, or making a choice between family and money, or it's sometimes positioned as a choice, right? The 2 of Pentacles is also sometimes looked at as options or priorities or managing, right? The 2 of Pentacles is about balancing and the need to keep priorities in check. So if there's a financial situation, then you might be choosing between 2 jobs, or moving or staying in a living situation, or studying, or monitoring your finances, or spending your time wisely and looking at the bigger picture. There's also a busy period that you might be expecting. And this card can also predict that you're taking on a couple of different jobs or priorities, or taking on, there's this feeling of multitasking, right? And feeling overwhelmed. So that is what you need to release. You need to release the overwhelm of taking on too much, right? This card also is this energy of, like, how can we feel into the energy of flow, right? If you are not feeling flow, how can you feel into the energy of flow, right? How can you also open yourself up for different outcomes as well, right? So releasing the energy of overwhelm, releasing the energy of feeling unbalanced, releasing the energy of maybe needing to balance too much. Sometimes that is a thing. Like sometimes we need to, embrace the energy of centering and balance. And sometimes the balance is too much. Like maybe we're being too strict with ourselves, in other words. Okay, so the new opportunities that are presenting themselves, I love that the new opportunities is the Ace of Wands, because it's literally like on the card says new beginnings. So this is action, this is creativity, this is expansion. The Ace is a card of new beginnings. It's a card of inspiration. It's a card of letting go, like releasing the potential, not releasing the potential like as you're letting it go, but like kind of releasing the hold on the potential. So it's kind of like a rubber band snapping, right? It's pulled back so much that it catapults into a new beginning, as seen in this tarot card. Like it's a wand, right? It's flying through the horizon, right? So this is a time to take action on your dreams. This is the energy that is surrounding you, is all about expansion and listening to your intuition. So this is an exciting time for you, as you might feel a creative spark, inspiring that blank canvas, and a possible new business venture or creative project on the horizon. Be prepared to start a new, this might be like a new passionate side of you, whether that is passion of creativity, whether that is passion of work, whether that is passion of traveling even. Sometimes the wands are looked at as travel because the wands are all about action, right? It's all about inspiration and beginning your journey. So new opportunities that are presenting themselves to you, anything relating to your passion, anything relating to work, anything relating to action, right? And the actions you can take to embrace that is the action of the Chariot. Again, this is all about making a choice to move forward and deciding. You can also look at the Chariot as the energy of dark and light. And I like that we did the shadow reading first, because, as I said earlier, if you listen to that reading, the shadow is illuminated by our light. It's our light within that allows a shadow to be seen. And once we see the shadow, it kind of takes the power away. And so how can we use our light and our dark to help us move forward? Sometimes that's also the lesson in the Chariot as well. This is about motivation, self-discipline, accomplishment, again, travel. So if you're listening to this, you might be doing some traveling in the coming year. Maybe this might be an intention that you're setting for yourself to travel, or to maybe change jobs. Who knows? So the actions that you can take is to make a decision. On which path you want to follow. You might be being pulled in two ways. Again, as I said before, it's like making that choice, right? If you're having an opportunity to get either something financially or career-wise going, or travel-wise going, decide where you want to go. Like, I don't think that we could ever choose wrong. Like, we might think that we made a wrong choice at some point, or we might think that we could have done something differently. The truth is that, and I've said this before, and I'll say it again, just because it could have been done differently doesn't mean it would have been better. So using your energy to look to your future, to envision your future, to envision what you really desire, to really do that future visioning. Like, what is it that you want? And then make the choice from there. So the Chariot is this life lesson of choosing. It's this life lesson of making the choice to move forward. And not making a choice is still a choice too. So if you make a choice to stay still, that's also still a choice as well. So the action that you can take is to take the choice, right? To make the choice, right? The support that's available to guide you is your own intuition. I love that that is the support that's available to guide you, even though some of you might be like, no, but I don't know what my intuition is. So this is a time to work on your intuition. This is a time to find your truth, to find your inner wisdom, to find that light within, to really tap into your spirituality and that divinity that resides within you, to really trust that the divinity, the inner wisdom within you is always available to you. If we can just listen to it, if we could just highlight that and really just be in that receptive mode, right? This is the energy of reflecting on your feelings, reflecting on your decisions, reflecting in the times where you have trusted yourself, in the times where you have really, really taken a chance on yourself, where you have really dived in, where you have really listened to that intuitive spirit, right? Listening to your intuition, trusting yourself, and trusting your inner voice. Listening to those things that you cannot truly touch, using faith to move yourself forward. That is what will guide you on your new chapter. I love that is your reading. Okay, so then we have a third reading here, which is your inner wisdom spread. I love that this is like the third spread. And this is a spread that I'm not going to do because this is going to allow you to explore your own inner wisdom. So what is your inner wisdom trying to tell you about your current path? How can you better connect with your intuition and your inner guidance? What actions can you take to live more authentically and in alignment with your inner wisdom? I love that. I did not do that spread, and I promise I didn't plan like pulling that last card of the High Priestess as the support that will guide you. And as always, there are journaling prompts. This time there's like 3 pages of journaling prompts. So there's like 12 questions. And I like that because, 12 months, but that's not why I did this. So regarding your Capricorn placements, what roles, old patterns, or behaviors are you willing to break in 2025 to live a more authentic life? Really think about that. Like, what are you tired of? Like, what rules are you tired of playing by? What patterns are you tired of repeating? What behaviors are you tired of taking? And what are you willing to break in 2025 to live a more authentic life? Leaning into that Capricornian energy, what experiences, relationships, or beliefs do you need to release to make space for new beginnings? Ooh. What are some small acts of rebellion that you can engage in today, or maybe tomorrow, or maybe throughout the year? Maybe I might change that through the year, but as I'm reading this, I'm like, what can you engage in through next year to help you live more authentically, right? How can you reframe your inner critic's voice into a voice of encouragement and support? If you don't know how to do that, I do have a module or a lesson within the Soul Shift workshop that talks all about inner critic and how to switch that voice into something that, is helpful for you, right? Because most of the times our inner critic is trying to protect us, but what are they protecting us from? And so I like that question. Okay, so moving on to the next page. What are your most deepest, authentic desires, and how can you align your actions with them? What is one imperfection that you can embrace about yourself today? I would say for the whole year. How can you use that imperfection as a source of strength and growth? Again, like if you do like this menu jar, or if you do like this jar of encouragement, like it could be a jar of anything, jar of encouragement, like I'm calling mine a mini jar, but yours could be a jar of encouragement, or a jar of guidance, or a jar of support. Like you might even write things about yourself that are your strength, and how your weaknesses can be turned on their heads as strengths. You pull that, right? So what are the most important foundations that you need to build in your life to support your long-term goals? I kind of like that question too. How can you cultivate self-discipline in a way that feels empowering rather than restrictive? I like this question because it's a question I've asked myself before, especially when it comes to self-discipline, because I have been disciplined with myself in such a restrictive way that makes me feel powerless, right? But when I've set parameters for myself that have felt empowering or have felt encouraging versus restrictive, I've gotten a lot further. So I hope that helps you too. So what feelings do you truly want to experience in your life? Like this is like the core desired feelings. If you don't have that workbook, again, go back to that Soul Shift workshop. There is core desired. Like I highly recommend doing that around this time of year. So what feelings do you want to truly experience in your life? Is it joy, peace, freedom, love, contentment, comfort, confidence? And how can you align your goals with your core desired feelings? How do you envision yourself 5 years from now? What are you doing? What are you wearing? What are you living? Where are you living? Who are you with? What does your ideal life look like? And based on your future visioning, what are your top 3 long-term goals? And using one of those long-term goals, how can you break it down into 3 to 5 smaller, more manageable steps? And what is the first step you can take today? There is lots of space for journaling notes and breathwork notes if you need it. As always, the breathwork is in the vault, so you can feel free to, if you haven't downloaded that yet, download that and listen to it at your own time, and perhaps do some breathwork before this or after this, whatever feels right for you. Okay, so, and as always, there are helpful links where you can find your sun, moon, and rising sign using your birth chart. And then if you don't have access to tarot or oracle cards, there are some links here for you to use. Chris Ann's Pick a Card, and also if you want to buy your own oracle deck and aren't sure which one to do or which one to get, there are some recommendations there. As always, thank you so much for taking the time to invest in yourself. Thank you so much for everything that you're doing to ignite the light within you, to open up your heart. The world needs you with an open heart, and thank you for treating yourself so well by being part of this membership. This is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful gift that you can give yourself. As always, the light within me sees, honors, and respects the light within you. And that's it for now. I'll see you next time. Bye.